Using video games to teach things is nothing new to the industry. When I was in school, we learned geography from a thief, business management from owning a theme park, and that life on the Oregon Trail was boring and generally sucked ass. So it shouldn't be too surprising to find out that animal rights group PETA has made a free-to-play game, though it does seem a little odd. But since it's free to play, and I'm the poor man gamer, let's take a quick look at Kitten Squad on the PS4. In Kitten Squad, you play a cat who is tasked by an elk and an owl to do good deeds for animals. This quickly descends into low-level ecoterrorism, so you go to SeaWorld, Sealand, and set whales and dolphins free, or you go and liberate caged sheep from the evil farmer sheep puncher. Despite the real-world scenarios, the kittens only fight robots, including the farmer, who is apparently built from scraps found around the Pacific Rim movie set. Though the objectives are clearly a means for PETA to spread their message, the propaganda element isn't as bad as you would think. For example, the missions only have one-sentence descriptions unless you click on the cutscene buttons, and the cutscenes scroll so slowly that you have to be pretty devoted to the cause already to read all the text. You can also talk to the owl, who's essentially the PETA Twitter, and he spews out facts about the things they consider to be animal cruelty. Full disclosure, I'm all for the ethical treatment of animals, and I support reasonable regulation to that end, but I'm also always down for a cheeseburger, and for people around the world to not starve thanks to advances in agricultural techniques. All I'm saying is that animal rights is a complex issue, and giving kids a game to show them a one-sided perspective before they're old enough to understand the issues is misguided at best. But like I said, it's not really in your face, though it's definitely there if you want to look for it. Now that I've covered what the game is, let's talk about how it plays. Spoiler, it's boring as fuck. Kitten Squad is a twin-stick shooter which controls like Smash TV or Geometry Wars, but much simpler. You move around with one analog stick and shoot in all directions with the other. There are no consumables or specials other than the different weapons. The game doesn't even bother to explain the controls, and assumes the player knows how this works. This actually gives me hope that the game was intended for younger players, but I'm probably looking too much into what is most likely an oversight. The biggest problem with Kitten Squad isn't its controversial subject matter, but its lack of depth. Every room is just a rectangle with some boxes. Some of the farm levels have spinning blades, but that's it for map variety. The textures change a little, but every room is still just a rectangle with boxes and enemies. You kill all the enemies, then the door opens. Repeat ad nauseum. Sometimes you have to get a key that's been dropped by the enemy, but this is pointless since you weren't going to leave the room until you killed everything anyway. The game has fewer than 10 different enemy types and maybe about a dozen or so weapons. Apparently, Sealand and the local farm are filled to the brim with killer robots, who are even carrying weaponized yarn launchers for some reason. In the end, you can see everything this game has to offer in about 15 minutes, and you'll most likely be bored after 5. Not that the game is without challenge. I got to the fight with Sheep Puncher and died. And since you have to start from the very beginning of the mission, I said screw it. I'm debating whether or not I should go back and beat Sheep Puncher for more footage of the game. If you don't see me beat him in this video, you can assume I decided to play something more fun instead. Maybe if you beat the game, they'd make you a PETA tier or something, but right now, I don't know or care. When you destroy the robots, you get coins that can be used to buy outfit parts for the kitten. Or you can buy coins with real money through microtransactions. Maybe it's just me, but I don't see this being a huge revenue generator for PETA, though I might just be the wrong demographic. And I'm sure they want to get their name and message out there more than anything else. Kitten Squad isn't a bad game, just a boring one. Kids might like it, and it does feature 2-player co-op, so it has that going for it. If you're the kind of parent that wants a game to indoctrinate your kids, you're kind of an ass, but Kitten Squad may be up your alley, though you'd have to force them to watch and read all the cutscenes, which is a cruel thing to do to a kid who just wants to play video games. As a free-to-play game, Kitten Squad is decent enough, and a way to kill time. It may be boring, but it's free. but as a teaching tool for activist parents, you're probably better off renting Blackfish or just taking your kids to the petting zoo. At the same time I saw Kitten Squad, I also saw a free-to-play Frozen freefall game for PS4. So here's a quick review. It's Candy Crush. The end. Until next time, I'm the Poor Man Gamer.